What's up, everybody? My name is Graham and welcome to my YouTube channel. I just finished my first book of 2024 and boy did it literally start off with a bang. That is right, I have finished Jade City by Fonda Lee and it was something. Before I jump into the review, let me just give you a rundown of my plan for the channel on reviews going forward. I'm going to start with the spoiler-free section, then move to spoilers. The time will be stamped and at the end we'll have an official rating of the book. It could change during other reviews, but don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to see more of these reviews. So have you ever heard of a book that you kind of get scared to read? And the fear is because there's so much hype around it. That was Jade City for me. Every single booktuber mentioned that it was amazing. And I ended up buying this book 2 years ago and it never left my shelf. However, that's not what this is. I didn't end up being disappointed in this book whatsoever. As soon as I started, it was incredible. If you don't know, the book follows the Call family, the leaders of the Greenbones and the No Peak clan, located in the city of Janloon. You have Lan, the older brother, who is more of a Zen type character. He's the pillar, aka head honcho for the clan. You have Shay, a middle sister who decided to move away from the family business to suddenly have returned to be in the beginning of the book. And you have Hilo, who is my personal favorite character, and the youngest brother of the clan, who is kind of the big bad guy, or not the bad guy, but the fighter, the horn, the one that's in charge of the politics and control. There's another core character named Ander. He goes to school in the city. It's really cool. He's the one that kind of shows you the magic, being able to wield and use the power of Jade, essentially, which is more like human abilities, like heightened senses of feeling or emotions, which is really cool. All of that is found really, really early in the book. But what made this book so fascinating to me was how the No Peak clan wasn't the only clan in Janloon. They have a rival clan called the Mountain Clan. And things happen and the clans become more at war and our characters suddenly are playing mental chess against their rivals. Every move of the clan fights to political discussion and is made with purpose and so much thought it put into every move. I was just enamored the whole time, sitting on the edge of my seat, constantly to see its plans, big or small, really come into play. Fonda did such an amazing job immediately captivating me with these characters, not only of the main family, but of the shopkeepers who devote their life to the clan for their protection. The magic system isn't complex, but it's something you feel with the characters. It's not, look at this guy fighting and really good. It's more of like you're in your characters' heads and emotions, the power, have you feel with them in a poetic sense. I can't believe I've actually gone this far without mentioning the beginning maps, which I'll probably put on the screen. The maps at the beginning of this book just got me excited to read it. To be honest, if I look here, you'll notice that there are little subsections of Janloon that have different names, like the Armpit, Junko, Spear Point, Dog's Head. And as soon as I saw that map, it made me want to learn more because I thought the characters would use it, and they did. That being said, the one negative I guess I could say about this book, or that might be not great for everybody, is this isn't a very adult book. The violence is very well explained. There's sexual scenes, there's a lot of things that are just kind of gruesome, and there's just a lot of graphic violence. And so I know my friend who borrowed this book earlier, that was their big qualm and won't continue the series, but I was fine with it. It was good. If I was to compare Jade City by Fonda Lee to another book of like, hey, if you read this and liked it, you'll like Jade City. I would say that The Well of Ascension, the second book in the Mistborn trilogy, is close to. You have all the politics that's going on in that book, of them learning that, and you get that in Jade City, except just on a bigger, better level. Now, we have to move on to the spoilers territory, because there's parts of this book that had me shooketh, as you will. So, you have been warned. Spoilers. Yes. So why do I like Barrow? This little guy should be dead, right? Barrow's in the beginning of the book. He's a menace. He's this small, like, rat guy that, of course, is in charge of Lan's death. Can we talk about that? He sends Lan to the grave. Even though Lan had other issues, it just was so shocking to me that this character, who I pegged as, like, the one survivor of this family, like, died. And I felt like what Fonda did with Lan was perfect because, like, it kind of showed like Lan be this like balanced person, this balanced leader, and you're in his head and you know that he thinks ahead and is really like observant of like the roles of being pillar. And then you have to move to Hilo being the pillar, who just, oh my gosh, like all of a sudden he's like an angry person that's trying to do the same role and he doesn't think as politically as Lan does. It was really, really, really cool, and I really enjoyed seeing what that was like. And so I feel like Lan was the perfect like tutorial for us to get into the motion of like politics the right way, and then you have Shay and Hilo doing politics in their own way, and it made like it's so interesting and grabbing to be able to do that. So that was a crazy death, and like there's just a part of me that's just rooting for that villain. Sorry, I keep going forward. I since my first video, I don't even know like how people do reviews from their hand, but I keep rooting for Burrow, if that's how you say his name, and just it's just incredible. Like I want to know more about that guy. He's at Landsgrave trying to steal his Jade. I can't wait to read Jade War and figure out if he takes the Jade and if they start something with all of that, all the drugs. MK1, I think it was called, or M1A. I don't know. I forget. It's been like a day. Another fantastic thing in this book was Ander, when he was going through school. He definitely took the Han Solo role of this book. And if you guys don't know like that reference, I assume you do. But just in case, Han Solo's role in Star Wars was to be the audience, right? Every time that you witnessed the Force for the first time, Han Solo had the same reaction. And so he'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could put a clip up here or if I get whatever for that, but he would be shocked with us. And that made us gravitate to him and feel the same feelings of wonder. And so I feel like Ander had a slight Han Solo role in this book because he was learning to use his Jade powers, and it was explaining this like sense of mystery and how he was feeling as he got like one piece of extra Jade. And then of course to have the like payout at the end with taking on all that Jade at once, it was kind of crazy. It was, that was an interesting part for me too. Like he was slowly gathering Jade, feeling more power. You feel that emotion, but I have to admit that like even though we were warned of like Ander's mom being like the person, like the psycho witch is what everyone called her, the crazy witch lady, I still found myself really like shocked over what happened to him when the magic like consumed him. He like, I truly thought it was going to be fine as he got on the Jade, like he'd just be good, because it was like kind of fighting that balance with Ander of like, okay, he's going to be different, and of course he was like, oh, we can use this drug to be able to help you, which was kind of more set up for Lan, right? But then as he grabbed that, all that Jade at once, he like exploded with like energy and became like the maniac killer that it was for protecting Hilo. However, I just like, part of me is wondering like, because we don't have another person that's experiencing like new Jade like consumption, I'm curious if like consuming that much Jade would have done that to anybody. Like if Lot, which is one of Ander's school friends from school, was to grab that much Jade, would him also become like a super heightened like being who wanted to enjoy killing everybody? Or is that like Ander's mom's problem? It could be a question that I'm going to find out in a later book. I don't know if his story's over because he's now where all the people's I'm gonna put this down. All the people's mom is on the beach, secluded from everything. So I'm curious on where Ander's story is going to go, and if we're going to see. I feel like Lot's going to become a more important role in the next book. If you know, you know. You can hit me up in those comments, whatever. But yeah, if he takes a more important role and gets more Jade, will the same thing happen? I don't know. I kind of want to know. I'm really. The only thing that, like, kind of going back to that, I had a note about this, is like when Shay like took a break from Jade for a couple years and took hers, she was like filled with rage as well, and kind of went on a killing spree. And so like but she was already used to the Jade, and I think she was just like mad because of her brother. So I don't know. I don't know if it's controllable, if it was just because it'd be Ander or Shay. It doesn't. I don't know. I guess like I don't know. That's like my real biggest question with this book. The other thing that's really excited that I'm excited for the future stories is Shay and Hilo's wife Wen. I'm excited to see their future story. Having her be a white rat, I believe is what it's called, was pretty cool. To have her smuggling Jade over to the other islands. And so I'm curious if we're going to see more from the military or if we're going to see more from those other islands in the future. It's pretty cool. I guess the other question I would have is like, because everyone saw Ander, going back to Ander, I guess Ander's like my biggest character right now that I'm thinking about. Because of Ander's action to Hilo, being like, hey, I decline my Jade. I'm curious if that's going to cause a lot of weird things going on with Hilo and the new members of the No Peak clan. So I'm curious if the clan will have some weak points because of that. So yeah, that's all my thoughts about Jade City. It just did not disappoint me. I really loved this book. I honestly, like, I'm very happy on how easy it was to read because I just was hooked immediately. It was a great start to the new year. And I don't know if I was just like hyped because like I'm going to be making my first review over it. That definitely is not going to be my best review. So yeah, it's going to be crazy. But it was just really exciting to read it. But what would I rate Jade City? Great question. I would give Jade City by Fonda Lee 4.5 stars out of 5. I really, really loved this book. It all jived with me very, very well. It was a very me book, and I was on the edge on my seat the entire time. There's politics and characters. The world was just excellent. However, there's one thing that doesn't give it a 5-star rating for me. There's something that just feels missing from the book. Not in a bad way, but there wasn't a part of this book that feels like it blows my mind. Oh man, there wasn't a part that like popped in my head that stood out. That's gonna come back and like haunt me tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like examples is just like I've read some books where like something happens in it at the end where it's just like I think about it from time to time. Good like with Gideon the Ninth or like Hero of Ages, for example, like those things all of a sudden just pop in my brain and go like that is still crazy to me, and I like there's no feeling of like I never got the feeling of like a book ending and being like high off it for a couple days. And so I think that's why I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5, because I think it's super awesome. I think it's great. I think everyone should read it, and I'm hoping that the rest of the series continues the way it is, and maybe gives me that shock factor. But it was crazy. So that is my review of Jade City. 4.5 out of 5. Excellent book. If you're really into mobster stuff, definitely recommend picking it up. But it's just a great high fantasy. Again, avoid it if you don't want to listen about graphic violence or have sexual content in there. That's pretty well explained, but not in a bad way. It's not like smut or whatever. But that's my review. I'm seriously so happy to start this new year with this book. Thank you, Fonda Lee. You crushed it. Make sure while you're here to hit that like and subscribe button to see more reviews coming from me. I plan on reading a book a week. That is my goal. And so you'll get a review every single week, maybe even more depending on it is. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you have a great day. Toodles.